right. So how's it been going this week?
Well, I practiced the relaxation exercise you told me about.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the deep breathing and the visualization.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like the muscle relaxation part. I just end up focusing on how tight and uncomfortable my clothes feel.
Right, okay, so that didn't work for you. That's fine. I'm delighted that you liked the breathing and the visualization. That's great. A lot of people find that one or two of these strategies works real well for them, and the other one or two, not so much, they don't like them. I think if you're going to do anything, really stick with the deep breathing, because you can do it kind of anytime, anywhere, very unobtrusively, and it can really take the edge off of anxious arousal.
I tried it at home at night before bed, and last Sunday I tried it during church. It helped a little, like you said, to take the edge off.
To take the edge off. Okay, great. What happened at church?
Well, I was sitting in the back pew, like I do, listening to the sermon, and I started to get sick to my stomach. It started acting up, and I thought, oh no, I'm going to have to run out of here. But then I thought maybe the breathing would help, and guess what? It did.
Fabulous. Okay, that's great that the breathing helped. But I'm a little confused. Do you mean your stomach? The stomach is kind of up here, or do you mean your gut more down here?
My gut, I guess.
Okay.
Not like a nauseous feeling, but more like cramps and rolling down here. Like I have to pass gas real bad, and like I'm going to have diarrhea.
Okay. Okay, thanks for clarifying that. So it was your gut that was feeling uncomfortable. That makes
Yes.
sense. So you were in church in the back pew. Do you always sit back there?
Yeah, because my gut started acting up, I sit back there.
Why is that?
Well, if I have to get up and run to the bathroom, it's better that way.
Okay. Did you used to sit up front?
Yeah, I used to be on the choir also.
Oh, you were in the choir? Really?
Yeah, I used to sing solos and everything.
Oh, it sounds like you really missed that.
Yeah, I really do.
Why'd you stop singing?
Well, I can't do it. What if I get really sick while I'm up there? That would be awful.
That would be awful. What would be the worst thing about it?
Well, it would be really embarrassing. It would disrupt the service. And everyone would be looking at me, and not in a good way.
Not in a good way. Okay, I can understand why you don't want to disrupt the service, but what do you mean by not in a good way?
Well, it would be really embarrassing.
Okay. This is a perfect chance to really try and identify your thoughts about this. Okay, what is the worst case scenario here? What do you think people would actually be thinking?
They be thinking, what's wrong with her?
What's wrong with her? Okay, and what would they answer themselves?
I don't know. Like I'm not right in my head, I guess. Or I'm disgusting. What if I pass gas while I'm up there at the roster? We all packed in there like sardines, and guess what? It's hot.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have to run off the roster right there in front of everybody.
Does anyone at church know about your IBS?
Sure, a couple of my girlfriends know, but it's not really the kind of thing you talk about in public company.
Right. No, I can see that. All right, let me ask you this. Have you ever seen anyone else stand up in the middle of the service and walk out? I mean, like other than parents with like really young babies who might start crying or something.
Yeah, I guess people come and go. Not real often, but on occasion.
But on occasion, okay. What do you think about those people?
I guess I really don't think nothing about it at all.
You don't think badly of them?
No, I might wonder what's up for a second, but I don't think badly about them.
So, why are you so convinced people will think badly about you?
Well, I guess maybe it wouldn't be a big deal if I were down in the sanctuary part.
If you were down in the sanctuary, but it feels like a bigger deal if you're up with the choir.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Oh, I can see that. I mean, obviously, you're right. If you're part of the service, people are going to be paying more attention to you than if you're just sitting down with the rest of the congregation. But I have a suggestion for you. How about next Sunday you actually sit closer to the front? Still down in the sanctuary, but closer to the front.
And what if I have to run to the bathroom then?
What if you do? So what? You had a pretty catastrophic prediction before. That people were going to think you were crazy, right? Not right in the head.
Mm-hmm.
Or disgusting. But, maybe you're starting to see that may not be accurate. I mean, are the people in your church really like that critical and mean?
No. No, not at all.
Okay.
I mean, I don't love all of them, but mostly the folks at my church are really considerate, kind people.
They are, okay.
Yes.
So do you see why I might suggest that you sit closer up to the front?
I'm not really sure. It seems like common sense to sit towards the back, so I don't disturb people if I have to get up and go.
Okay, no, I can see that, you're right. But let me ask you this. How do you feel sitting back there?
I do feel lonely. Like I'm really not part of the community as much anymore. Like I'm looking through a window, but I'm not really there.
That's so sad. Thank you for acknowledging that. And I think you did a really good job there, sort of identifying that thought. Isn't it amazing what we let IBS do to us? And just because your gut sometimes gets a little bit reactive and uncomfortable, you've given up being in the choir, you sit way in the back, you end up feeling lonely and isolated and disconnected from people that you really care about. All right, I want you to try sitting further up so that you can experiment with not letting the IBS run your life. That's our goal here. Even if your gut does act up a little bit, it's not the end of the world. I mean, it sounds like it would be really important to you to feel like you're in the thick of things at church again. I mean, eventually I'd like you to be able to rejoin the choir.
Wow. I don't know if I see that happening.
All right, would you like it?
Well, sure, but only if I stop getting sick.
Okay. All right, you know what? I want to focus on that word for a moment. Sick. That's a really strong word with a lot of negative associations.
Well, that's what it feels like. Like there's something really, really wrong with me.
Well, okay, look, IBS symptoms are definitely uncomfortable. They can be really annoying and distracting. There is no question. I am not saying this is a walk in the park, sign me up, sounds like fun, okay?
Right.
But I want us to start using different language to talk about it. IBS is uncomfortable, it is annoying, it is occasionally inconvenient, but you're really not sick. There's nothing horribly wrong with you.
Yeah, that's what my doctor keeps telling me.
Really? Okay, so the problem is that using that word sick, it keeps reinforcing that you can't do things, right? That you have to avoid things, that there really is something horribly wrong with you, all right? Sometimes just changing the language that we use to talk about a problem can actually help change the way we think about it.
I can see that, I guess.
Okay. All right, great. So you're obviously not ready to rejoin the choir.
Definitely not.
Okay. All right, that's fine. But do you think you could sit closer to the front this Sunday?
Yeah, I can try that.
Great. Okay. So let me ask you to make a prediction. What do you think will happen?
Well, hopefully nothing. But if I get sick, I mean, if my gut starts to feel uncomfortable, I just slip out and use the bathroom and then slip back in.
Excellent. I like it. Perfect. Okay. So on another topic, how did things go at work this week?
Oh boy. Well, I called in sick one day because I had a bunch of loose movements in the morning. And I just thought it'd be better not to risk going to work at all.
Okay, you had a bunch of loose movements. How many?
4. I went about 4 times.
4 times. Okay, you said they were loose movements. Remember that stool consistency rating scale I showed
Yes.
you last week? What are we talking about here? Like a 4, 5, 6, 7? Like right all the way at the end of the scale, or what?
Well, the first one was a 4, and then the next 3 were somewhere between like 5 and 6.
Okay. So you went to the bathroom about 4 times, and then you decided that you better not go into work.
Yeah.
Was that a problem?
Well, yeah, my boss was real understanding, but it's getting to a point where I'm afraid I'm going to lose my job.
Yikes. Okay, that must be pretty scary.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm sure I can find another job. I've been an executive secretary for 20 years or so, and then I'm good at my job. The thing I actually really like, the woman I'm working for, she's really cool. I've been with her for 4 years, and I really don't want her, to think that I'm trying to mess up. She's respectful, and she appreciates my skills.
Wow, that's important.
Yeah, but I believe in her in a tight squeeze, and I can tell you, she seems like she's getting a little frustrated at this point.
Okay, so This is really important because, again, we have an example here of a really important part of your life that the IBS is interfering with.
The thing is, if I have an attack in the morning, I'm afraid my gut will mess up all day. It seems better just to stay at home and get some rest.
Okay, here's another situation where your language is giving me a really important clue to how you're thinking about this. You just said, if I have an attack. Yikes, it sounds like your gut is attacking you.
Sometimes it feels like that.
It feels like that. Okay, I hear that. But, all right, the day you called in sick, you said you had 4 loose bowel movements that morning. Was there like painful cramping and a sense of urgency as well?
Oh yeah, especially the first and second time.
Okay. How quickly did the pain go away?
The pain went away as soon as I went, but I still felt sore and crampy and just kind of wrung out, touchy. Like the least thing just might set me off.
Okay. So how about after the 4th bowel movement?
I felt okay, tired and sore, just frustrated and upset mostly. But I guess my gut didn't really hurt anymore. I just felt like the muscle soreness all through there.
Oh, right. Okay, so just kind of irritated. So you stayed home.
Yeah, I did.
How were you the rest of the day?
Okay, actually, I was real careful about what I ate. Just a little oatmeal and some applesauce. And then I had rice and fish for dinner. But it seems to sit okay. I'm always real comfortable and careful about what I'm eating now. Some days I'm fine as long as I don't eat anything too fatty or spicy. I read so many different things about diet. I tell you one thing my doctor told me, to eat more fiber.
Uh-oh.
No way. I tried that. And I think it made the situation even worse.
Okay, you know what? It probably did. If you were eating things like Raisin Bran.
Yeah, that's what I did.
That's what you did. Uh-oh.
I bought one of them brand cereals and ate it for a few days. I know you don't want me to use the word, but I was sick for a week. Things just went wrong and wrong right through me.
Okay, no, I'm not surprised. You know what? And this makes me crazy. Unfortunately, a lot of doctors do just kind of simplistically recommend eating more fiber. Honestly, I could kill them because what they don't tell you is that there's 2 different kinds of fiber. And the kind of fiber that is in bran cereal is called insoluble fiber. It does not dissolve in water, and it does. It just goes right through you. So it's great for people who are constipated, right, because it adds a lot of bulk to the stool and it decreases transit time so things move through faster. But if you have diarrhea, it will absolutely make it worse. So that was the problem. There is another kind of fiber called soluble fiber. Soluble fiber does dissolve in water, and it actually helps stool clump together. So it keeps it real soft and squishy and kind of slimy, but it helps give it form and shape. It helps it keep together. Actually, 3 of the foods that you ate that day, that you mentioned, the oatmeal, the applesauce, and the rice, are 3 of the best sources of soluble fiber. So that's probably why that helped. All right, I'm going to give you a handout at the end of our session with all kinds of information about diet and foods that are high in soluble fiber versus insoluble fiber. Usually the best bet is to go with a fair number of foods with a lot of soluble fiber and just a little bit, some insoluble fiber foods kind of in moderation, buffered. That's the best strategy for most people. Okay, so we'll definitely be talking more about food as we go. But getting back to the day that you stayed home from work, it sounds like the rest of the day was actually okay.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
It was.
Okay. Did you end up needing to move your bowels again?
No, I guess I should have went to work, huh?
Yeah, it sounds like it. But see, here's the thing. Even if you did have to go to the bathroom at work, you probably would have been better off going to work anyway. I mean, you might not have felt at the top of your game. I understand you were kind of wrung out and tired, but do you think you could have functioned?
I guess. But what if I had a meeting with my boss or was supposed to be at my desk and had to rush to the bathroom?
Well, okay, we can talk about that. But I have a question for you. Do you always have to rush to the bathroom if your gut acts up?
Yes.
Why is that? I mean, I understand it's uncomfortable to sit through a meeting or a phone call or something if your gut is crampy. But the colon is designed to hold on to stool until it's convenient for you to go.
No, I couldn't risk that one.
Risk what? Risk what exactly? What are you afraid of?
Well, what if I lose control?
Of your bowels?
Oh, Lordy, that's right. What if I just couldn't hold it?
Well, that would be called fecal incontinence. That's the technical term for that. Has that ever actually happened to you?
Just once. At the start of the whole thing. A little over a year ago.
Okay. What happened?
I guess I must have had food poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I really was sick that time.
Truly sick. Okay, I got it.
I was vomiting and had the worst diarrhea of my life, about 3 to 4 days. On the second day, I had my girlfriend come over to drive me to the doctor, and I lost it right in the car. I have never been so humiliated in my life. I literally just could not hold it in. I had her turn around and drive me right back home. It was a stinky mess in my clothes, and a little got on her car seat. If that happened at work, I really, or anywhere else really, I think I just have to die.
Wow. Okay, so that sounds like it was unpleasant, really not a lot of fun. How did your friend react? Was she angry or disgusted?
You know, she was sweet about the whole thing. We both are mothers, and she just joked that it was God's way of telling me to slow down and let someone mother me for a while.
Sounds like a good friend.
But I felt so ashamed.
And ever since then, you've been afraid that it'll happen again.
Yes. That's why I just check out every bathroom and where they are at, any place that we may go.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want it to be too hard to find a restroom or where I might have to wait in line for a long time.
Right.
One of my coworkers last year offered me free Philly tickets to go to the game.
Wow.
My kids would have loved to go,
Mm-hmm.
but I turned them down. I couldn't even imagine going to a sports stadium or a concert or even to the beach. I don't know. Sometimes the parks and the fields don't even have those. I don't even like going to my kids' games because I can't stand that nasty porta
Yeah,
potties.
porta potties are not very pleasant.
Nope, and sometimes they don't even have them there.
Right.
I make up excuses to the kids, but I know they're frustrated with me too.
So, has it ever happened again? The actual incontinence?
No, but that's because I don't take risks with it.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, I can certainly understand that the idea of fecal incontinence is upsetting to you. I mean, it would be embarrassing and very inconvenient. I get that. But has it ever occurred to you that it happened that once because you really did have food poisoning that time? I mean, like you said, you were actually sick that time, right? But really, Maxine, it's extremely unlikely to happen again.
But what if it did though?
Okay, well, fair enough, right? Worst case scenario, it would be upsetting, it would be inconvenient. You're right, but I can't help thinking that you're letting fear of something that might remotely happen, and that you would find a way to deal with if it did happen. You're letting it get in the way of living your life, hon. I mean, think about everything you've given up. Just in the short time we've been talking today. You've talked about giving up singing. You turned down free Phillies tickets in the year that they went to the World Series. I hope you didn't even tell your kids you turned them down, because woo, would they have been pissed.
Really?
You're not doing things with your kids. You're even jeopardizing your job, which you love and are really good at and you depend on for your family's income, all because of the fear of something that might happen but is very unlikely to, and that would be embarrassing and inconvenient, but not truly catastrophic. I mean, losing your job would be a lot more catastrophic, it seems to me.
Yeah, well, if you put it like that, it don't sound too smart.
No. I mean, what it sounds to me is like the IBS is really, really interfering with your life.
So tell me, what do I need to do?
Okay, great question. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to set up all kinds of exercises together to help you get over this fear so you can stop avoiding things and start living your life again. Great.
That would be good, but what kind of exercise would
What kind of, I'm not talking about, sit-ups, don't worry about that.
Okay.
Okay, so here's an example. All right, over the weekend, while you're at home, I would like you to try to resist the urge to defecate for a short time when you feel that initial cramping. Just sit with it before you go to the bathroom.
How long though?
Like how long? Okay, like just a minute or two, real short time, okay? So the idea has two parts, right? First, you need to prove to yourself that if you have to delay getting to the bathroom, you can do it without having an accident, okay? You're not actually gonna lose control of your bowels. That happened before because you actually had food poisoning. I mean, there was a bacteria in your system that was truly making you sick, but that's not, there's nothing wrong with you now. You're not sick at this point. There's nothing structurally wrong with your colon or your gut, right? So it's really very unlikely to happen again. You can resist the urge to defecate without pooping in your pants, okay? But we're gonna start out at home, where it's not so scary, where, you know, if you do end up having an accident, you can deal with it, okay? Second, we need to kind of slowly build up your tolerance to those physical sensations.
So you saying you want me to be tough and just learn how to tolerate pain, huh?
All right, I can see why you might think that, but no, actually that's not what I meant, so thank you for bringing that up. What I want is for you to have the chance to realize that the discomfort is actually going to subside. It'll actually go down. Most things will sort of peak, but then they go down again. So over time, you can delay longer and longer just while you build confidence in your body, so that those initial cramping sensations aren't going to freak you out and scare you, all right? Once you realize that, you're going to realize that, like a lot of other things, like hunger, thirst, sleepiness, I mean, surely you've had times when, you know, you had like a little wave of sleepiness, but, you know, you're at your desk, it's not a convenient time. You push through and the urge recedes, right? Most body urges do that. They kind of poke at you, and if you can't satisfy them right away, they subside. I mean, obviously you have to satisfy them eventually. I mean, eventually you have to go to the bathroom, you have to poop. But the point is to help your body realize that you don't absolutely have to poop immediately.
Oh, okay. I guess I can try that.
Okay, all right, so, great. To recap, we did a lot today. Okay, so to recap, here's what you're going to try to do this week. You're going to try to sit a little further up at church on Sunday. And when you're at home over the weekend, you're going to try to delay going to the bathroom just for like a minute or two at first, maybe working up to longer, if you can do it, if it feels comfortable, 5-10 minutes, something like that, just to see what happens, to start kind of gaining confidence in your body. It might be a good idea to actually keep some notes about how it feels, what actually happens, because it can be hard to remember, 5 or 6 days later. Bottom line, I want you to remember, IBS is uncomfortable. It is annoying. It is occasionally inconvenient, right? But it does not have to be painful and humiliating and disabling.
Boy, I sure hope this works, because I really want my life back.
I hear you. All right, good work this week.
Thank you.